Carney's radical plan: gas cars banned by 2035 as taxpayer dollars flow out of Canada. Mark Carney has recently unveiled a radical initiative that has left Canadians reeling. By 2035, the sale of new gas-powered cars will be banned across the nation. This announcement comes on the heels of an astonishing $9 billion surge in military spending, marking the largest increase since World War II. While the twin objectives of reducing carbon emissions and strengthening national defense may appear commendable, critics argue that Canadians are being asked to bear the financial burden without a comprehensive understanding of the implications of such sweeping changes. The stakes are high, and the consequences could ripple through various sectors, affecting not just the automotive market but also broader economic stability. Amidst this backdrop, Environment Minister Julie Dabrusin faced intense scrutiny during a parliamentary committee session, where her responses to critical questions were lackluster at best. When pressed on whether the ban is mandatory, how it would impact rural communities, or how Canada's aging electrical grid would accommodate the shift to electric vehicles (EVs), Dabrusin provided vague assurances rather than concrete policies that would alleviate public concerns. This lack of clarity has fueled widespread skepticism about the fairness and feasibility of the plan, leaving many citizens feeling uneasy about the government's direction and its commitment to transparency and accountability. Public sentiment is deeply divided on this issue, highlighting a growing disconnect between government initiatives and the lived realities of ordinary Canadians. Recent data indicates that 54% of Canadians oppose the proposed EV ban, citing concerns over affordability, accessibility to charging stations, and the performance of electric vehicles in colder climates, particularly during harsh winters. The history of failed startup initiatives in the EV sector, many of which were funded by government grants, raises significant eyebrows about the viability of this ambitious mandate. For many, the move appears to be an attempt to push forward with an agenda that may already be losing momentum and credibility in the eyes of the public, leading to questions about how effectively these policies can be implemented. Compounding the situation is the sudden announcement of a $9 billion increase in military spending, which has sent shockwaves through Parliament and among the general populace. Carney justified this budgetary leap at the Monk School, arguing that it was essential for Canada to meet NATO's target of allocating 2% of its GDP to defense, a goal now set to be achieved 5 years ahead of schedule. He framed this as a matter of protecting Canadian sovereignty, rather than merely appeasing NATO bean counters, further complicating the narrative around this military expansion and its implications for national security and global standing. The new military funding promises a wide array of enhancements, including submarines, fighter jets, advanced Arctic radar systems, cyber warfare capabilities, unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and increased pay for military personnel. There is also a strategic shift to favor European suppliers over U.S. ones, aimed at addressing long-standing vulnerabilities in Canada's defense infrastructure. However, experts caution that merely pouring billions into military budgets will not rectify the fundamental issues of procurement and operational readiness that have plagued Canada for years. The problems in defense logistics and maintenance have been well documented, and without addressing these foundational issues, the new funding may not yield the desired improvements in national security. Reports from the Parliamentary Budget Office reveal a troubling reality. Decades of deferred maintenance mean that meeting NATO targets could cost Canada as much as $18 billion annually. The call to act now, explain later, raises serious budgeting concerns that cannot be overlooked. Many are questioning whether this financial surge is truly in the best interest of Canadian taxpayers, especially when so many other pressing issues remain unaddressed, including healthcare, education, and social services that directly impact citizens' daily lives and well-being. Adding to the controversy is Carney's well-documented affiliation with Brookfield Capital, a company that recently secured a $157 million contract for Canadian Forces housing that has faced significant cost overruns. The large-scale military spending, combined with a lack of transparency, has prompted whispers of insider favoritism and potential conflicts of interest. Meanwhile, everyday Canadians grapple with rising costs of living, including skyrocketing mortgage and grocery bills, further exacerbating public frustration and skepticism regarding government priorities and initiatives. The government's foreign spending initiatives have not escaped scrutiny either. Hundreds of thousands of dollars are being allocated to international efforts, such as $250,000 for peace initiatives in Angola and $7.7 million for climate projects in Ghana, an increase from only $60,000 in previous years. Critics argue that these figures reflect misplaced priorities and illustrate a troubling trend of taxpayer dollars flowing outwards while domestic challenges remain unaddressed. This raises fundamental questions about the government's commitment to its citizens and whether it is prioritizing international image over urgent domestic needs. The economic ramifications of these policies are already evident, manifesting in various ways across the country. Housing affordability continues to be a critical issue in major Canadian cities, leaving many citizens feeling cornered by their financial situations and unable to secure stable living conditions. In Ontario, Doug Ford's approval ratings have surged as residents seek leadership that resonates with their everyday struggles and concerns. In Alberta, Danielle Smith is gaining traction among voters disillusioned with Ottawa's heavy-handed policies, despite some uncertainty about her specific stances. This growing discontent with federal leadership highlights the urgent need for responsive governance that listens to and addresses the needs of all Canadians. At the heart of this political turmoil lies a fundamental question: who truly decides how Canadians live? Is it a federal agenda crafted in Ottawa, or is it the families struggling with everyday expenses like power bills, school fees, and infrastructure issues? Critics contend that the government is prioritizing ideology over practicality, favoring control over a more collaborative approach that considers the voices of everyday Canadians. This ongoing disconnect between policymakers and constituents could have serious implications for the political landscape, especially as citizens increasingly demand accountability and representation.